Life cycles. Life takes many forms, and every form of life follows a cycle. For instance, a cat has kittens and a child grows taller. A caterpillar becomes a butterfly and an old tree falls in the forest. All these examples are key moments in the life cycles of different organisms. All life cycles follow a similar pattern. Each cycle has a beginning, like an eagle laying eggs or the birth of a human baby. Then comes a period of growth and development. For example, the eagle learns to fly and hunt. A human baby grows stronger, learns to walk and talk, and begins to figure out how to survive. With luck, both the eagle and the person mature, live full lives, and grow old. They may have young of their own, thus starting a new life cycle. The life cycle of every living thing ends with death. Some life cycles are simple, while others are complex. Some last for hundreds of years, others less than a day. From beginning to end, all life cycles are made up of a variety of fascinating stages along the way. Exceptions to the rule. In science, including biology, there are almost always exceptions to rules. For example, almost all mammals develop inside their mothers and are born live. However, two Australian mammals, the platypus and echidna, lay eggs. The mother curls around the small, leathery eggs to keep them warm and produces milk for her young after they hatch. Frog life cycle. All animals from fish to apes have very different life cycles. Amphibians, such as frogs, start out as eggs laid in water. After they hatch, the young go through big physical changes, a dramatic process called metamorphosis. Baby frogs, called tadpoles, use gills to breathe in water, as fish do. They gradually grow legs, and their tails shrink and disappear. They also develop lungs, which allow them to breathe out of water. At this point, they are referred to as froglets. Some kinds of frogs mature in a matter of weeks. The length of a frog's life cycle depends on the species. A bullfrog can live up to 9 years, while the small rainbow frog of Madagascar lives only 2 years. Once they become adults, frogs can mate and lay eggs of their own. Elephant life cycle. Compared to frogs, African elephants have a long but simple life cycle. Elephant babies, called calves, take about 22 months to grow inside their mother's wombs. When they are born live, they weigh 91 kilograms or more. Most elephant calves take their first wobbly steps within an hour of entering the world. Young elephants have a longer period of development and growth than most mammals. An elephant calf drinks milk from its mother until it is 5 to 10 years old. Once it switches to eating only plants, an elephant is no longer a calf but not yet an adult. It still needs help from its mother to survive. This period is called adolescence. African elephants become adults at about age 17. At that point, they may mate and reproduce or have calves. They are highly intelligent animals that can live up to 70 years. Elephant graveyards. When an elephant dies, members of the herd mourn by touching the dead elephant's jaw, tusks, and teeth with their trunks. They also return to elephant graveyards to visit the skeletons of their dead friends and family. Human life cycle. Humans, like elephants, are mammals. Humans grow inside their mothers for about 9 months and are born helpless. Mothers produce milk to supply their newborns with the nourishment they need. After about a year, most babies start walking and talking. Young children from ages 2 to 3 are often referred to as toddlers. By age 5, playing and learning have become children's main tasks, both at home and school. Childhood usually lasts for about 11 years. Human adolescence begins at about 12 years of age. Young people begin going through puberty. During this stage, their bodies experience big emotional and physical changes and become capable of having babies. Their bodies produce more hormones, chemicals that help growth and development as they transform from children into young adults. Adulthood begins as adolescence ends, though, when that happens, is different for each person. People's bodies may be full grown by age 18 to 24. However, the human brain continues to develop and may not be fully formed until age 30. Humans take longer to reach maturity than any other mammal. Humans also need the most support to become adults capable of caring for themselves. Why? Growing up human is a very complex process. It involves mastering many skills, from using language to getting along with others. From birth to death, the average human life cycle lasts almost 80 years. However, more people are now living to be 100 and even older. Insect life cycle. Like amphibians, many insects develop through metamorphosis. Most insects go through 4 stages in their life cycle: egg, larva, pupa, and adult. Ladybugs. With their orange-red shell and black dots, ladybugs are colorful beetles. Like all insects, they start out as eggs. Female ladybugs lay their eggs on the underside of leaves where predators have a hard time finding them. Ladybug eggs hatch after 3 to 5 days. They are now larvae and look like little 6-legged alligators. In order to grow, they eat all the bug eggs and smaller insects they can find. When a larva outgrows its skin, it molts, shedding and replacing its outer body. A ladybug larva usually molts 4 times. After 2 to 3 weeks, the larva attaches itself to a leaf. It then changes into a pupa. A ladybug pupa looks a little like a shrimp. During this stage, it stays still while it transforms inside its own skin. This process may take 3 to 12 days. When fully formed, an adult ladybug emerges. Its polka-dotted shell hardens, and soon the beetle is capable of flight. Within a year, it is ready to mate and continue its life cycle by reproducing. Female ladybugs may produce up to 1,000 eggs each year. The average lifespan of a ladybug is 2 to 3 years. Other insects. The life cycle of some other kinds of insects are somewhat different. Dragonflies, grasshoppers, cockroaches, and similar insects have 3 life stages instead of 4. The stages are egg, nymph, and adult. At the nymph stage, these insects closely resemble their adult form except that the adults have wings. They do not go through the dramatic change of becoming a pupa. Some bugs, like silverfish, simply hatch and grow bigger, molting as their bodies increase in size. Plant life cycle. Plants do not have a heart or lungs. However, they do have life cycles like all living organisms. Most plants start as seeds. A plant's life cycle begins when a seed sprouts or germinates. Roots push down into the soil in search of water and nutrients, while leaves reach out for sunshine. Plants turn light energy from the sun into chemical energy that powers their growth, a process called photosynthesis. Giant sequoias. Mature giant sequoia trees are the largest plants on Earth. An individual sequoia tree can grow more than 90 meters tall. It starts as a tiny seed, though, about the size of an oatmeal flake. After sprouting, a giant sequoia is called a seedling. After a few years, it starts to resemble an adult tree and is known as a sapling. It may take 20 years for a giant sequoia to reach 12 meters in height. Young giant sequoias may start producing cones at about the age of 20. Both male and female cones grow on the same tree. Powder-like pollen from male cones lands on female cones and fertilizes them. Fertilized female cones then begin to form seeds. The average giant sequoia seed cone contains 230 seeds. A mature giant sequoia may produce more than 300,000 seeds a year. Less than 1% of sequoia seeds ever have a chance to germinate, though. Conditions must be perfect, with proper amounts of moisture and sunlight. Giant sequoias are among the longest living life forms on Earth. Their life cycle may last more than 3,000 years. Plant cones, aspens. Not all plants sprout from seeds. Aspens reproduce by both seeds and root sprouts. These mountain trees send up shoots from their roots that grow into new trees. They are all clones, meaning they have identical genes. Genes are like instructions that tell an organism how to grow. Scientists consider groves of aspen clones to be some of the oldest and largest living organisms on Earth. Cycles of life. Nothing lives forever, not mayflies, not elephants, not giant sequoias. All living things complete their life cycle when they die. In nature, when a living thing dies, its body decays and breaks down. It releases nutrients and chemicals that other organisms use to live, grow, and reproduce. Even when they die, living things help cycles of life continue. Glossary. Adolescence, the stage of the life cycle between childhood and adulthood when humans and other animals are still dependent on their parents. Cycle, a set of events that keeps repeating in the same order. Development, the process of changing into a more advanced or mature form. Fertilizes, combines male and female reproductive cells to create a new animal or plant. Larva, the immature form of an animal that goes through major body changes before it looks like an adult member of its kind. Lifespan, the average length of time that a human or other animal lives. Mature, to become grown or fully developed. Metamorphosis, an animal's change from a young form to an adult form in stages. Nourishment, the food and nutrients that humans and other animals need to grow and be healthy. Nymph, an immature form of certain kinds of insects that does not look very different from its adult form. Pupa, an immature insect in the stages between a larva and an adult. Wombs, organs inside the bodies of female humans and many other animals in which babies grow before they are born.